Woo! I wanted to start like that because if you were watching us on YouTube, like so many of our very good listeners do, and watchers and viewers, you would see that I'm rocking my Woo Tang shirt, baby. Yeah.
I don't even know how to feel about that shirt right now.
Yeah. I can say this every time I wear it, it doesn't matter where I'm at. Somebody in the street will be like, Woo! Doesn't
Of
matter.
course, of
Doesn't matter.
course.
Even if they don't get the Tang part. What are you
I would
rocking?
start walking like him towards you.
Yeah, the nature boy. Woo! Woo! What are you rocking? Tell them about your shirt, man. Let me see your shirt. You got
I
you
got the original. All right,
Yeah,
so it's one of my favorite shirts because my daughter has the remix on hers,
that's
so that's
just
pretty dope, and she's gonna definitely be a better version of me.
that's
So as far as like original versus remix, she's probably gonna be better than the original. So I'm just gotta
just
put it out there like that. Like I got 5 on it. I'm not sure if it's better, but it's really good. Yeah.
that's just so fucking adorable, Jay Roman. It's your boy Sean Q. As you heard earlier, my partner, like always.
Jay Roman.
Together we are OSP, and we're gonna tell you what we're gonna get into, but first we want to start off with what's popping. What's popping? We're gonna do a multiple thing. They both have to do with music. And if you didn't notice from our shirts, because you're listening and it doesn't make sense, you can't see our shirts. Today's gonna have a lot to do about music, and two big things happened in music in this past week. One was brother DMX is hospitalized. Mr. DMX OD recently. He's been in a coma for how many days now?
Well, he's gotten better,
Okay.
but it was a few days, and I don't know the current status at the moment, but it was dire. I mean, multiple reports were out, but one of them said dire, like it was not looking good. He
Right.
was in a vegetative state. Usually, when they say that, that means you're about to be the plug's going to get pulled in a couple of days. But from what I understand, he's doing a little better. I'm going to follow up probably by the end of the episode and like let it be known what I learned. So
I check as we record this. Today is Wednesday. It's April 7th, and from what I read, yeah, it says dire, and just prayers for DMX because the dude has suffered with addiction pretty much his whole life.
yeah,
And we've supported DMX. We are DMX fans. We loved what he did on Versus, and when we saw that, it's like every time that happens, DMX will put out something, and we're like, "Yo, the dog is back! The dog is back!" And then something
mm-hmm.
like this will happen. And this last one was a big one because we got to see him. We got to see him play the classics. He was on the stage with Snoop. It was a great vibe. He was like, "I got new
Yeah,
music coming," and then
mm-hmm.
bam, like out of nowhere, he's back in the hospital. So we just
Yeah.
want
What
to pray
sucks
for the
is
brother.
he also got diagnosed with COVID. So that
Mhm.
and the drugs in the long term history that has put a huge, has had a huge impact on his body. It's just a lot of factors not looking good together, and that's really the horrible thing. My heart sunk when I saw it. I immediately texted my wife, and yeah, man, I'm not happy about it. That's for sure.
Yeah. So prayers up for DMX. I heard they said yesterday the Rough Riders showed up to the hospital on their motorcycles, which I thought was dope.
Nice.
That was pretty
Hell
dope.
yeah. What
So
about the ATVs, 3 wheelers and stuff too? But
yeah, right. So I
what's
thought that
up?
was pretty dope. On a more positive note, the versus battle that happened on Easter was some iconic shit. It was I am at a bar, I'm talking to a bunch of old heads, and we were talking about verses, and they were like, "Hey, I'm not into all that hippity hop." And so when I was telling them that it was Earth, Wind, and Fire versus the Isley Brothers,
Mm.
everybody was like, "Yo, how do I download the Instagrams? Where the Instagrams at?" So I know a couple of people who were like, "Yeah, I had my grandson come over. He had his phone out, and we were watching on his phone, and it was dope." I was like, "I
I
love
didn't
that."
even think about that. How many old people actually couldn't watch it because it's on technology that they don't use? I didn't even think about
I
that.
I wish, and I don't know if Tembo and Swiss would do this, but I wish it would have been dope if they could have gotten to some of these people's homes and just been like, and just seen like these older heads on the phones or on the laptops with these kids who are showing them how to use Instagram. So it's like a moment. It's like I need to use your technology so you can see what my
Yep.
generation was listening to. I
Yes.
feel like
Yes.
that was a moment that could have been shared. And I hope somebody has that recorded to see these older heads like, yo, look, I know you on Instagram all the time, but look, you know what it is? That's Ron Isley. That is
Yeah.
Ronald Isley. Now, I will
Or
say
just see them get down. The way they dance to the music and just like,
man,
oh, I mean, so many songs came on. And I was doing something else, but Valtria was grooving, and then she started dancing. She pulled me up to dance. We're dancing in the living room. I mean, it was dope. It was dope.
it was so dope. And the Isley brothers came clean. Ooh, man, I put on there. I was like, Ron Isley looked smoother than some hot yogurt. Like he was just fucking
So
clean.
I saw a picture of him after that. Did he have the beard during all that?
Yeah, yeah. So he has the beard. He showed up. He's got the gray beard. He's got, I mean, up here is still black. He probably dyes it. It don't matter.
Yeah. He
This was
spray
still
painted.
slick. This was Twist and Shout 1960s slick up here. This down here was old man, watch how you talk to me. You know, this down here was Mr. Biggs. Look at me. Look at me. I did this to you. I was down here, and they showed. I'm gonna post that picture later that Vel sent me of him and the mink outside on the car, just clean, just clean for no damn reason.
You know this. I need you to say to the people out there, not only why it was so important, but how old is Ron Isley? Oh shit.
Ron Isley is. I never looked it up. I want to say 79. I was gonna say
79.
That's a 79 year old.
He's been doing this since the 50s.
Yeah.
50s.
70 years old. 79 years old.
79 years old, and he's been doing this most of his life. And it's one of those things that when you think when some people who watch this like, oh, they're old or that's old music and all that. Yeah, but that music laid foundations for today. And so many sounds still come from those sounds because you know what? Honestly, there's not really a lot of original sounds out there anymore. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's amazing to think if any of us even get to that age, what we can say we did or lived through or been part of and all that. You know what I mean? I would love. I want to see what happens when we get that age. Hopefully we're still in the shape that they are because they look pretty good.
Man, they were killing it. And he's still hitting them notes, man. The guys from Earth, Wind, and Fire were still hitting them notes. It was just a beautiful scene. It was a beautiful Easter to just chill and watch and just be with the family. And I love it because it segues into what you just said is a perfect segue. What we're going to get into today is there's this whole thing that's happening right now, and it's Gen Z versus everybody. If you've been watching on TikTok, you watch on social media, there's been a bunch of Gen Zers who are trying to enhance the cancel culture that we talk about all the time. And they're trying to cancel a bunch of old heads, and they're trying to cancel a bunch of shit that not only one doesn't need to be canceled, two, it's kind of like them shitting on their past, on our generation, to say how their generation is better. Now, every generation has been through this. We go through it all the time. Every generation, you feel like, well, yeah, we had it like this and we had it like that. And since this is the shit on you generation,
not the Pepsi generation,
right? No, that's what we'll shit on you generation, right? So we are old school. We call ourselves Old School Perspective. We give our old school perspective. So it is really easy for us to shit on this generation. It would be really easy for us to come out and be like, well, this is trash. This is garbage. Here's why what you do sucks. Here's why what we went through was better. It'd be real easy. It'd be real easy to do that. But instead, we're going to take a different approach. We are going to practice what we preach, which means two of the things we preach the most are do your research and give respect where respect is due. That's two things that we try to do all the time. We make sure we do our research and we give respect where it's due. A lot of people from our generation, like when people are talking about canceling Eminem all the time says where he gets his influence from. Every chance he gets, he'll shout out the rappers who influenced him. And so on and so forth. So a lot of people of our generation, that's just what you were known to do. That's something that was passed down. And I feel like it's stopping at Gen Z. Like a lot of people who are out right now aren't showing where their influence came from. They're not giving the respect to where they got their influence from. So as much as we're saying what you're doing is not new, we see you. So what we're saying is this. We're going to pick some of today's artists, some big artists, some known, a lot known. I want to say all of them are known. Some on a wider scale, some not so much. And we're just going to say, we appreciate what you're doing. I see what you're doing, but it's not new. Here's the influence we see in you. That way, if for some reason, because there's a lot of hotheads out there who will never admit that either their style, the way they dress, the way they speak, the way they carry themselves, or the way they rap, the way they sing, the way they perform, a lot of them won't give that credit and say, no, I came up with this on my own. We'll do it. We'll do it for you. We got you. We will say this is the influence we see. Now, if you guys disagree with us, by all means, you know where our social media channels are. Hit us up. If you disagree with them or you see a different one, by all means, let us know. If we say something about Cardi B and Cardi B thinks, oh, I disagree, tell you what, Cardi B, hit us up, baby girl. Somebody get the message to her and tell her to have our people call our people and have our people call your people and so on and so forth. Side note,
like just put a little Eddie Murphy in that one.
Right, I was gonna say, yeah. Side note, we ain't got no people. It's just us. We ain't there yet. So I do want to make this note, and our producer Veltria made sure to put this to us. The three of us all believe, we don't believe, and we think it's disrespectful when you say somebody's the new something. She said Nick Cannon said at one point, Mariah Carey was a fan of Ariana Grande. She wanted to meet her, and we're going to talk about those two until Diva until somebody said Ariana Grande's the next Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey was like, no, there is no new Mariah Carey. I'm the only Mariah Carey. We all agree, like, we don't like it when people do that. For a long time, to no fault of his own, I didn't like Justin Timberlake because there was a Rolling Stone issue where it had Justin Timberlake on the cover, and it was like, Justin Timberlake, the new Michael Jackson, the new king of pop. And I was like, how fucking dare you? How dare you call this motherfucker the new Michael Jackson, the new king of pop? I didn't like that shit. So, and for a while, I took it out on Justin, didn't appreciate his music. Whatever, we'll get to that later. We would never say somebody's the new something. What we are saying is we see where your influence comes from, and we feel like you were inspired by this. Mm-hmm. So let's get right into it. There are obvious ones. There's a couple of obvious ones where you see it and you're like, well, obviously. For example, Mr. Super Bowl halftime himself, The Weeknd. Weeknd's performance for the Super Bowl halftime, a lot of people had mixed emotions about it, mixed feelings about it. I thought it was dope because with what he had to work with for the Super Bowl, not being in front of fans and making a lot of stuff digital and still making it look dope, I thought he did a great job. I've never been a big Weeknd fan. I don't know. I don't like a lot of dudes who sing real high. I don't know. I can't explain it.
I'm with you. I'm for some reason I like him more than others. Like Tevin Campbell, I didn't like Tevin Campbell because he was too high. His stuff was too soft, but stuff like that. I like The Weeknd for some reason. I have all the albums and I bump them and I groove to them real good, real hard. So I can't really call it when it comes to The Weeknd.
I like The Weeknd. I like
kind of a weird thing.
I like what he did with the Super Bowl. I like his performances. His influence is easy. Like if people look at The Weeknd and they say, well, I see the Michael Jackson influence on The Weeknd. Obviously, the way he performs, Michael Jackson changed the way a lot of people perform. Mm-hmm. I want to say he was the greatest performer of all time. So when you have a performance and you know millions of people are watching, you want to do some stuff or you want to make it a big deal. You want to if you go back and you look at the Beatles on Ed Sullivan and them just standing there with their instruments and people are going crazy, or you see Elvis do a couple of moves that he stole from black people, the performance changed. Then James Brown starts getting on stage and was like, oh shit, they're performing. It's not just him singing his song, it's a performance. And then Michael Jackson changed everything. It was like, all right, now it's got to be a full fucking show. Y'all are putting out videos. I'm gonna put out a goddamn movie with a song in it. And you're like, oh my God, how do we compete with this guy? You don't. So you see The Weeknd, you see his influence from MJ. And I say a little bit of Usher as well. Usher also coming from that same vein of MJ. And when Usher would perform, he makes sure like when he's dancing or when he's performing, it's a show. It's a performance. And I feel like The Weeknd puts on a great overall performance. I hear the vocals and I can hear when he hits the notes, you hear the Michael Jackson influence. I feel like that one's an obvious one. Are we in the same ballpark with that one, Jay Roman?
Yeah, well, he's also done, and like you say, you're not a big fan of him, so you maybe don't know the albums like I do, but he has songs on his albums which are straight MJ tributes. And so it's super obvious and he does it on purpose. And it's real nice when he does that, because it's like, wow, he really played a good homage. I really liked it. So no, you're spot on with that for sure. I mean, he goes a little bit further with the lyrics, of course. So it always kind of kills me how many people like really bump his stuff and maybe don't know what he says, or they do know what he says, and that's why they bump it. Who knows? But that's spot on, especially with Usher too, though, because Usher, and maybe not as much Usher, but just the overall style of being able to do the dance music along with the straight singing and the ballad type stuff, because Usher's influence on so many people to this day is huge. And you can take a lot of people and show who they were influenced by, and especially by Usher, because Usher was huge in the 90s and he was huge in the early 2000s, and he's still relevant now. And he just put a new video I just saw, and I was like, that's dope. He's still doing it. I mean, I'm like, this guy's like 45, 50 years old. He still looks like he's 25.
Dude, it's crazy.
Doing his damn thing, and it was amazing. So yeah, no, it's super dope to see that. I like the ones who kind of follow in those footsteps, and when they go too far outlandish out there, I don't know what to think. I sometimes have to maybe get into them a little bit more and find out. But The Weeknd is the most obvious because he's blown up the biggest now. Just a few years ago, and I'm talking only 5, 6, no one knew who The Weeknd was. Right. He was underground. People had his underground stuff that was way different. Now it's very popish, and that's fine. But
yeah, he was.
The influence is definitely there.
He was putting stuff out, getting it stolen by Drake, and then he blew up on his own. And as we're talking about Usher, I just finally watched the movie Hustlers the other day for the first time. And Goals. My goal is to walk into a club like Usher. I want to
You just
walk
like,
into a
just like
club,
throw money.
right, and have them in the back like, bitch, Sean Q's out here. What? Bitch, Sean Q's out there.
Yeah.
Come in and pick J-Lo up by the booty. Like, that's goals. That was goals of mine.
Yeah.
Weekend's an obvious one. Another obvious one is, as we said, Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande, because of the way she hits high notes and because of her style of music, and because she's considered a young diva, when you think diva in the past 20 years, you think Mariah Carey. I mean, you go back, you go Diana Ross, you stuff like that, Aretha Franklin. But when you think diva, you think Mariah Carey, and the diva that's out now is Ariana Grande. Similar styles, both hit some high notes. That one to me is obvious. I don't feel like that one is a I don't think there's a toss up for that one. I mean, you could put in, because of Mariah Carey, you could put in some Christina Aguilera, because it's a lot of vocals, and they both of them, it's this weird thing. Like I give the Christina Aguilera part and the Britney Spears part because I don't know, maybe Veltri would be able to speak on it. I don't remember Mariah Carey dancing a lot.
No, she never has.
She doesn't dance a lot. She's more of a vocalist. And when she does dance, it looks kind of choreographed. It's like the diva dancing. These are my moves. This is me spinning. Look at my hair.
Yes,
and that to me is like, that's like Mariah Carey. That's the dancing that Ariana Grande does. It's like Christina Aguilera, maybe less Britney Spears. Britney does more choreographed shit. But it's not a lot of dancing. It's all, look at my vocals. Look
yes. And I appreciate that about them. Because I can listen to them and I don't have to think about their dancing. Whereas Britney, she never had a great voice, so I always wanted to just watch the videos because then I could see her.
Right.
So
big
difference there.
This next one is kind of a toss-up. Now, this one hits a spot with me because people who know me know that I don't like Bruno Mars. Now, it's for reasons that I don't want to get into. I ain't trying to put this man on blast. Multiple reasons, has to do with like Stevie Wonder, some other shit, whatever. I don't like Bruno Mars. I love Anderson .Paak. So I actually like their group put together by Bootsy Collins. I like Silk Sonic. I like Bruno Mars and Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like they're doing. I like the whole funk thing. So with Bruno Mars, because he started young, and I compare Bruno Mars to Justin Timberlake because he started young. Diva's in the room, isn't she? Is she whispering? It's all right.
I'm recording, baby girl.
Because he started young, Justin Timberlake started young. I think they have similar styles because Justin Timberlake every once in a while would play an instrument. Unlike, he wasn't just a front man. So he started with the boy band, and then he came out with Timbaland and stuff. But he would he plays piano, he can play a guitar, he can get down on instruments. He might not. Justin Timberlake.
I guess I don't pay enough attention to that guy because all I can think is you don't deserve what's your face, and I don't like you. The dude he can play instruments, and he's a songwriter. Bruno Mars is a songwriter. I see if Bruno Mars were to say to me, I've never seen Justin Timberlake, I wouldn't believe him. Put it that way. I can see the influence and even the way, like when he sits down behind the piano, it's that same vein of, I write pop music and I write popular stuff, but I can sit down on the piano and play some shit. I see that vein. Now, Veltria said she doesn't know if she sees the Timberlake vibe because Bruno Mars specifically chooses different people to emulate. Like right now, he's on his New Jack Swing vibe. True. And he had that 80s vibe for a little bit.
He did, which is part of the New Jack Swing vibe. But I will say this, I do compare that to Justin Timberlake because keep in mind, he went from poppy boy band songs to then get with Timbaland, and him and Timbo did some incredible stuff together. And then he started, I forget the name of the band he's with, but it's kind of like a bluegrass sound. He switched his style over to something bluegrass. Yeah. And that last album,
are you listening to Timberlake and I don't know this? Is that what's happening?
That album, I heard one song and I heard Man of the Woods, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm trying to think of what what bluegrass song that came from. And to this day, I still don't get it. But it's like incorporates Timbo's beats with like some down south shit. And it's got Justin Timberlake on it. So he switched his style up as well. It's a dope sound, actually. You got to check it out. And you know me, I've never been a big JT fan, which my roommate absolutely hates. He's like, come on, man, Timberlake. I'm like, all right, he's slowly growing on me.
Stop it.
He's slowly growing on me. The dude's not bad, but I see those vibes. Another obvious is Drake and Milli Vanilli. Both were trash. Both are trash. Both have ghostwriters.
What are you talking about? I mean, not that I disagree, but I don't know what the connection is.
Both are trash. Both have somebody else writing their shit. I mean,
Oh
like, what the
wow.
fuck? Not that's not an obvious one. Obviously, people. I don't know. I don't know who. You know what? How do I put this? I don't care enough about
I
Drake
mean,
to think about his
he's
influence.
like this, blame it on the rain. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah. Drake is this generation's version of that.
Wow.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't care enough about Drake to care about his influence. Um, that those are like obvious ones. There's other ones that aren't obvious. To get
Wow.
into some of the
It's like what? I'm trying to picture it. Okay, all right.
to get into some of the less obvious ones. So there's some that are like kind of controversial. So Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj is a big deal. Nicki Minaj she hit the industry hard. She came out of nowhere and she's been going nonstop. And when she comes out with some shit, everybody was like, yo, she can actually flow. She's sexy as fuck. She can sing a little bit, like she's got a little bit of everything. And for a minute, she was saying stuff that women hadn't been saying for a minute. And everybody's like, oh, Nicki Minaj changed the game. And a lot of us older heads were like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj did not change the game. And they're like, yeah, but she's rapping with these dudes. She can go toe to toe with the dudes. Hold on.
Yeah.
Nicki Minaj did not change the game. You're like, dude, she's saying some sexy shit, and she's filthy, man. Like she said some nasty shit, but it's kind of sexy though. Nobody else is doing that. Hold on. Nicki Minaj is not changing the game. For the older heads like us, who do you think of when you see somebody like Nicki Minaj? Who's the first person that comes to mind?
The first time I ever saw Nicki Minaj, all I thought was Lil Kim.
Lil Kim.
First time and every time. Has she surpassed her now? Yes, she has, as far as like how long she's been doing it, how consistently she's been on the top, all that. But as far as like lyrically and all that stuff, like I'm not hearing anything new. Maybe the style is different because she does like sounds and she makes faces and whatever, like in the videos. But I mean, I remember Lil Kim in different wigs, different styles, showing her pussy. Like, I mean, maybe not showing it, but the album cover is her in a bikini with her legs open like that. I mean, that's nothing. Nicki Minaj didn't do anything different. So she got an ass implant and put that on the screen. Like, what's the biggest difference there? It's not really a whole lot. So I saw that immediately, and at first it really bothered me because I was like, oh, I'm not seeing a whole lot of difference. I don't really care. There's nothing that's impressing me. But then I just kind of got used to her. I wouldn't say I became a Minaj fan, but I got used to her. I'm like, okay, she is her own person now because she's now taken over that persona and just really pushed herself to be on that forefront and be and she killed it on the song Monster and on that album too. So there's a few things like, okay, she killed it on that. But that's not to say Lil Kim couldn't have killed it too, or she didn't as well, because she did. She killed it lyrically back in the day when it came to that kind of stuff. And she was hitting with the nastiest, hardest stuff you ever heard of in your life come out of a woman's mouth. And then we had the same issues. Oh my gosh, how could a woman talk like that? Why don't you let a woman talk like that? Let it be. I like it. Just because you want to clutch your balls, you little bitch. You know what I mean? Like, let the women speak. That's how they want to rap. Let them rap. You know what I mean? I don't understand the biggest deal when you got the men on the other side talking about bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks, and you want to talk about Lil Kim or Minaj or whatever what they say. Just shut up. That shit's always killed me. I think I went a little too far with that explanation, but
no, you're good. No, you're good. No, you're good. No, we're not gonna get canceled at all. No, we'll be fine. I think Nicki Minaj and Lil Kim is an obvious one because, yeah, like you said, the style, the fact that she can go toe to toe with the guys. But I also think there's another element because Lil Kim kind of stayed in the vein of hip hop. She didn't really cross over as much to the pop crowd as Nicki Minaj has. And for that pop side, I would say the inspiration is more Janet Jackson, because Janet Jackson was one of the ones who made it dope as shit to be sexy. You were black and you were sexy.
Yeah.
And yeah, Janet Jackson sexy, but still to this day, sexy as hell. So I see the Janet Jackson influence and I see the Lil Kim and I see that in Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, we see you. We applaud you. Now,
we see you all right.
If you go further with that, then from Nicki, you got to Cardi B. Cardi B hits the game. Same thing. She's saying some shit. Everybody's like, yo, man, Cardi B's out here changing the game. Hold on. I'm like, no, man, Cardi B. I mean, yeah, Nicki Minaj, just like Lil Kim, was saying some nasty shit, but Cardi B was saying some other type shit. Ain't nobody ever, who hold on.
Yeah.
When I first heard Cardi B, I immediately thought Foxy Brown, because when you think Lil Kim, you think Foxy Brown. When you think Nicki Minaj, you think Cardi B. It's one of those like, okay, yeah, they could do a song together. At the end of the day, they don't like each other. And even though they're doing something similar, it's two different spectrums. They're both saying their truth in a very, sexy, disgusting way, but they're not the same person. They were very different. And I feel like the same could be said about Nicki Minaj and Cardi B. They are in the same industry, saying some different shit, doing it their own way. They're making it their own. It's not like they're both just saying the same thing. They've definitely made it their own. Foxy Brown was not Lil' Kim. She was her own entity and vice versa. Cardi B is not Nicki Minaj. She is her own entity. She has her own style. She has her people she kicks it with. She has her whole vibe is different from Nicki. And same thing when you go from the hip hop part to the crossover, I put Cardi B in I see her pop influence the same way I saw Madonna. When Madonna hit, but everybody's like, "Oh, this white girl's crazy." Like all she talks about is sex, and it's just she doesn't give a fuck. Like Madonna, oh my god, she says whatever she wants. Who the fuck does that? People are saying the exact same words about Cardi B right now. Cardi B says whatever she wants. She's coming at the president and showing her titties. Madonna was doing that, dude. Madonna was doing that 20 years ago. She was taking her influence. And then I just saw Hustle.
Hold on. 40 years ago.
Sorry, 40 years ago. My timeline is
almost 40.
A long ass time ago. You see, like when you would see the Madonna videos and you would see like Madonna in like A League of Their Own, you're like, oh shit, the sexy ass pop star is in a movie. So you see Hustlers, you see Cardi B, you're like, oh shit, the sexy ass pop star is in a movie. You know what I mean? So it's the same inspiration, same influence. If Cardi B, same thing, were to say, I don't know who Madonna is, I'm like, you full of shit. You know who Madonna is. You know exactly who fucking Madonna, and you know who Foxy Brown is. So Cardi B, those are the influences that we see in you. Just so you know, we see you.
I mean, there's more, but those are the most majors, I would say. Like, of course,
yes,
there's always gonna be more. But when it comes to just outright, like maybe shock value or in your face or impactful, that's what I have to think of. I mean, there's so many others. I mean, we can compare something what they do to like Paula Abdul. We can what they do to something like Cyndi Lauper. Cyndi Lauper was like the weird side, because Nicki Minaj has a lot of Cyndi Lauper-esque type things going on. People aren't seeing this. The weird hair, the weird styles, the weird looks, all that. There's nothing new to it. It's just a new person doing it in a new time where maybe someone else wasn't. Like the key to Nicki Minaj when she came in, there was a void of someone like that. A couple of people tried it, but no one made it. Nicki Minaj came in and there was a void, and then she was backed by Young Money. So there was that, and I don't know how they're getting along now, considering Lil Wayne, I think, sold all their masters. But anyway, so there was that. So that's the thing. Whenever something comes in and fills that void, it's like, oh my gosh, that's what you're saying. They're changing everything. Or they're going this way. And it's like, you didn't change anything. You're just the new person to do it after someone else didn't do it for a while.
Right.
Because if you remember, Cardi B came in when Nicki Minaj was kind of not around a little bit. She wasn't as prominently in your face. She started doing a little bit more pop stuff. She was maybe in a flick or two. And then all of a sudden Cardi B comes in, and not only is she rapping hardcore lyrics, she's rapping like gangster lyrics, but she's also being very open about her sexuality and her stripping background. And also she has the Spanish element. So she's throwing Spanish words. She's in there with the reggaeton guys, which these guys don't even know the name. I know Bad Bunny. Only reason I know what Bad Bunny looks like is because I see his commercials. And like there's this
baby, Bad Bunny.
And so they're filling that void that isn't there. And then sometimes, timing is perfect. Cardi B came just the right time, which is why Nicki Minaj came back like, wait, what are you talking about? How come you're trying to compare this to me? And it's like, there's not really a comparison. You're two different people at this point. You're very different. You just both rap hard, and I like that. I don't want no soft ass lyrics, and I want you to talk about, whatever gets you on. Do your thing, right? Shit like that. And I could, and that's what I appreciate. I didn't like Lil' Kim back in the day that much because I just didn't think she was that good. You know what I mean? But I knew who she was. I knew what she brought to the table. It took a while for me to like be with Lil' Kim. Why does it sound like there's a helicopter over my house right now, like above it? Anyway, can you hear that?
Like, get some help.
Anyway, so you know what I mean? So it took a while for me to like appreciate who Lil' Kim was and what she did, because I was more into like the Brat, right? Because the Brat brought you lyrics that, and style that held its own with the men, but didn't bring sexuality into it. So I was like, okay, she didn't have to get raunchy and raw, just like some people don't have to cuss, I guess, when they rhyme and shit like that. So it's kind of one of those things. But I think I went around a different circle, but
I mean, listen, being from
that
the
to me, what
shy,
Cardi B brought in, what she brought why she got so big too. She brought the Spanish element too, because I'm bumping. I like that. I'm bumping all the ones that she speaks a little Spanish. I don't know who Offset is and all that, but she says his name a lot. So it's like, so like that's the really biggest deal right there. And I love seeing where she maybe picked a little piece of style up from. I love that. I love it. I do wish they would say, hell yeah, I watched Little Kim. Hell yeah, I watched Foxy. Hell yeah, I watched Nicki Minaj. Hell yeah, I know who Madonna is. Because at this point, they're doing the similar music. They're doing the similar style. They're making wild ass videos. I mean, we haven't got to it yet, but WAP with Megan Thee Stallion, like people are like, yo, what the hell? But and they were talking about Anaconda before that. And then they were talking about whatever they were talking about with whoever before that. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. It's fun to see, but don't come at me with your new shit because it ain't nothing new. You're not doing anything special to me, I guess you could say. I mean, I don't want to put anybody down.
Right. Speaking of Megan Thee Stallion, same thing. Just came out of nowhere. She dope style, nice fucking flow, pretty as all hell, bigger than the rest of us. She is when I think Megan Thee Stallion, when people are like, yeah, man, this girl's from the South, and she's saying she's different from Nicki and Cardi, and was she? I'm like, yeah, but so was Trina. When I look at Megan Thee Stallion, I think Trina, because people tend to forget. A lot of old heads who hear this right now are gonna be like, oh, that's right, Trina. Remember when these dudes from the South with Trick Daddy was like, you don't know that nigga.
Yeah, that's exactly the song I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Like, she's talking about lick it all the way to my ass crack or something like that.
Yeah, and then Trina comes on, everybody goes, God damn, that is downright disgusting. I love it. Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
She said some shit when Trina's like, you don't know that bitch. You're like, oh my God, I love her. I love her. That's what Megan Thee Stallion is when I think. It's like that flux of female rappers who came in and came hard and they were coming in groups. What would suck is if we have another lull of like 5 years and then somebody else comes out and they're like, oh, this is brand new. You're like, no, man, it's just been a few years since you've heard what they're doing.
About Megan Thee Stallion, what I've seen a lot of comparisons recently, and I could see it, I guess, because lyrically, but a lot of people are putting Megan Thee Stallion and Lauryn Hill together because they're saying, and now it's stylistically way different, obviously.
Right.
Lyrically, way different as well, but I think they're saying it because of subject matter. I don't think they're saying it because of style and lyrics. I think they're saying because Megan Thee Stallion is bringing up hardcore subjects as far as female empowerment that aren't just here's my sexuality. It's just about Black woman power, and like I can see that because she's using all of it together and putting it all out there. And damn, what's her name that came out real big last year, 2 years ago? That was big. Who was doing the same thing?
Lizzo?
Damn it, Lizzo. Izzo. Lizzo. Yeah. So I see that again. I don't see the Lauryn Hill. I definitely see the Trina because she has those lyrics that like really surprise you, like oh shit, in that kind of like dirty way. But she's also bringing some thoughtful shit, which I appreciate because she's not just a pretty face and big ass. She's talking about real empowerment shit, and you saw that in like SNL, and you saw that in the Grammys and all that shit. And I can appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. Style wise, I can't listen to her a lot. There's something about her voice that I can't like listen to a whole album. I have to listen like pieces.
I will say this. And I'm sure a lot of Gen Zers will agree with me if they know their history, if they do the research. I will say that the person I think of when I think of like who's this generation's version of Lauryn Hill, I would say Jhené Aiko. Jhené Aiko, if you listen to any of her lyrics, you see so many women, so many men, so many people in general be like, yo, this chick is a vibe. She says something on every song where you're like, yo, I just felt that shit. That shit just hit different. And Lauryn Hill used to do that to us. So when you think, if you look at all these people who post stuff and they're like, yo, man, Jhené Aiko said this, and I felt that. That's what our generation was saying with Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill put out X Factor, and when she said this, I felt that. You know what I mean? So I would say, and as far as lyrically and as far as giving you something to think about and saying some shit that's important and just spiritual, I would say Lauryn Hill, like Jhené Aiko, definitely was influenced and inspired by Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't rap as much. It's not the same style. Like the style, I can see where with Megan Thee Stallion, they're like, oh, well, they rap similar styles because Jhené Aiko doesn't really rap. But as far as what she's saying and the vibe she gives off, the mood she puts you in, and the things she makes you think when it's just everyday stuff, definitely Jhené Aiko and Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
I would put those two together. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
let's take a break real quick. I'm gonna go listen to some Janae go. Woo! Wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing. So, are you telling me that you're not gonna watch WrestleMania this Sunday to see The Miz fight Bad Bunny?
I mean, maybe. Is that this weekend?
That's this
How
weekend.
am I gonna watch that? Is it free?
It's on fucking Peacock. Why would WrestleMania be free? WrestleMania is never free.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe they gave everyone a surprise, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to watch it.
Apparently, Vince McMahon sold his soul and he sold the WWE network to NBC for Peacock. So Peacock now owns all the wrestling shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
NBC, he sold it for like $1 billion because,
of course,
yeah. He
needed another $1 billion.
He needed another billion just to be in a conversation. There was like a table he couldn't get a seat at. Now he has another $1 billion. Now he can.
You know what? Nearly every person who has money and doesn't really always says about money, they could always use a little more.
But could they?
No matter how much money they have, how much money is enough for them? The answer is almost always a little more.
For what though? I mean, I always worry about that. Look, I don't. I digress. We're gonna take a break real quick. We'll be right back. Keep your eyes open. Keep your ears open. I can't feel my dick when I'm with you. I don't think that's how it goes. Is that how it goes? But I love it. I fucking love it. That's not how it goes. I'm not.
No.
That's not a remix.
No, it's face. It's face.
Yeah, dick on your face. I can't feel my dick on your face. I feel like we're saying the same thing but different. Welcome back.
Gosh,
we were talking about influences and inspiration. We're shouting out people who are praised by the Gen Z generation and saying if they won't give the respect that is due from their inspiration that molded them, or at least put them in some kind of fucking shit. I'm gonna cut that.
Well, I mean, you can blame the last like 8 years on Future, but no one ever says that he was the reason they rap the way they do.
Yeah, and we say it all the time. A lot of these dudes owe mad respect to Future, whether they want to give it to him or not. If not for Future, a lot of y'all wouldn't sound the way you sound right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good thing, but still.
maybe they don't want to, right? Maybe Future's like, hey, don't mention me. Don't
yeah.
Don't thank me.
I mean, he's tried to call them out, like, all y'all took my style and don't give me any credit, but
yeah,
whatever.
So I would say another obvious one, and it's obvious, even though it's an obvious one, I like it. It's J. Cole. We mentioned J. Cole when we talk about rappers we like now, rappers we can listen to now. And we mentioned J. Cole, and J. Cole, which I thought this was dope, has a song called I Let Nas Down. And it's a dope song, and you hear J. Cole style. You hear how J. Cole is not like a flashy, he's like what Nas was. He's like the opposite of Bad Boy. He's like the opposite of look at how much money I got in your fucking face. He's talking.
Yes and no, though. Hold on, real quick, because Nas raps about that too, though. It kind of kills me when he does, but he does. He talks about his money.
Right, but when he was first coming up, you think about Nas's most important shit, most impactful shit, a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with money at all.
That's true.
Even J. Cole would be like, yeah, I got money. How many bitches you got? A lot. How much money you got? A lot. You know what I mean? Like every once in a while, you gotta flex on.
Well, his verse wasn't like that, but I know what you're saying though.
Yeah, every once in a while, you just gotta flex on nigga. You just give him one of these fucking. But but subject matter, you think J. Cole, people automatically think Nas, and shout out to J. Cole for actually saying that. Nas's new album, he actually put out a song in response to J. Cole, which I thought was dope. Which says you made Nas proud. That one I feel like is an obvious one when I hear the two of them. There is a female rapper that's out right now, and I know me and Vel were talking about her. I'm a fan, and it's Rhapsody. Rhapsody's been out for a little while now, and I've heard her featured on a lot of different people's stuff. And her vibe, her style, her subject matter, all reflect what Queen Latifah was doing. And Queen Latifah, same thing when she was rapping, people were like, yo, wow, like, yo, she said some real shit. What put Queen Latifah in everybody's face was when she put that song out, because she'd been doing it for a minute and still did it a long time after that. But when she put UNITY out, people were like, yo, who is this? Yo, did you hear what she said? Like, it was beautiful. I see Queen's inspiration when I hear Rhapsody flow, and when I see Rhapsody, that's what I think. This next one is interesting, because this dude is all over the news again. This dude's been in the news for a minute, and it's been like two completely different spectrums. This dude is like a perfect representation of what I like to call an artist.
Okay.
People get so caught up with, I like the way this guy did this. I want that guy to do this and only this and never stray away from this because now I see him as this. That dude is Lil Nas X.
Okay.
I'll explain. Lil
Yeah.
Nas
Okay.
X, when he did Old Town Road, everybody's for me. I mean, first of all, a good portion of the country fucking hated it. Why is this Negroid doing country music?
Yeah. So
Wearing
much that they boycotted it to not be called country.
Yeah, wearing Wrangler jeans. I'll be goddamn. Like people were losing their mind, but the song blew the fuck up.
Yep.
Blew up, and
For
then
those who don't remember, longest #1 album or song all time.
Yep.
Beat the Beatles.
Yep. And so this song comes out. People see this dude. They're like, you know what? We've got accustomed to it. We like it. Fine, Lil Nas X. You can be a black country rapper. We'll allow it. And then, like Benicio del Toro said in Snatch, he flipped you.
Yep.
He flipped you for real. He flipped it on him. Now, this dude, the last I heard, this dude had a video where he's giving the devil a lap dance. And he's wearing Nike looking shoes with backwards swooshes on them with blood in the soles. And everybody goes, what the fuck? Is that the dude from the commercials with Sam Elliott? Why is he giving Satan a lap dance? Because he's an artist and that's what he felt like doing. Yeah. Because he felt like switching it up. He didn't feel like being put in that bubble of I am a black country rapper. He wanted to do some new shit. He felt like doing this, and that's what he did. The problem people have is when an artist decides to switch their style up or show different sides of themselves, some people can't accept it.
Yep.
Mind you, I get part of the argument because people are like, my kids loved Old Town Road. And now they see you giving Satan a lap dance? Why? Is that blood in your shoes? What the hell? People are losing their fucking minds over this.
Oh, man.
And you and I, we've said this a bunch of times. Like Lil Nas X, one wouldn't be able to be the type of artist he is if not for people like you look at Elton John, you look at what Little Richard did, you look at these artists before, and when you're like, look, these dudes were doing kind of what you're doing on a different scale. Nobody, I mean, when you go back to Liberace and you go Elton John, nobody was flashier and more flamboyant than these guys. So Lil Nas X being flamboyant is not new. That alone is not new. Lil Nas X with the hair, like I have a different hair color this day and I'm feeling this way. I think Cisco was doing that. When Cisco was out there unleashing the dragon on motherfuckers and jumping on bitches, he was running up on bitches' foreheads and thong. That's like, I think Lil Nas X, okay, yeah, we've seen Cisco do this. When people say like how flamboyant Lil Nas X and he's, oh, well, look, he's wearing those and he's got leather. Dude, did y'all forget that Prince was wearing assless chaps? Like, Prince was 100% out there with his ass out and still getting bitches. And it was the same thing. Like there were tons of people who were like I remember that video and I talk about it all the time and I rewatch it as much as I can. James Brown is on stage and he tells the crowd there's a celebrity in the crowd. Michael Jackson comes up, does a little James Brown impersonation, spins a little bit. And then he goes, I got somebody else for you. And Prince comes up and everybody goes, what the fuck? Prince starts humping the guitar. He's round. He's got his shirt off. You see these grown ass
very different styles.
Very different style. And everybody's like, what is this nigga doing? And he's just, he was being Prince before people knew who Prince was. Yeah. He was not afraid to throw himself out there and be like, yo, this is me. So without that influence, without that inspiration, you can't have a Lil Nas X. So if Lil Nas X ever says the words like, I didn't really watch Prince, or I don't know who Cisco is, or
bullshit.
You lying. Yeah. Nigga, you lying.
Calling bullshit on that one.
Exactly. So even if he would never say it, we're saying it. We see that in you. Now, to those people who are saying that they're mad that their kids were big Old Town Road fans and now they don't understand what Lil Nas X is doing, just so I'm clear on this, you're talking about the kids who were watching the video on YouTube or Twitter that you don't guard at all, like you don't that you don't monitor in any way. I don't like that this dude is doing stuff and my kids can watch it when I'm not monitoring them at all. That's bad parenting. Be a better fucking parent. Also, the dude's an artist. You can't expect him to stay where you want him to stay because that's where you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I support Lil Nas X. I mean, I'm not a fan of Satan getting a lap dance. It ain't me. I don't give a shit. But if the dude wants to give the devil a lap dance, by all means, do it.
Well,
Madonna was talking about Jesus.
Oh yeah, a big part of that is how many of those parents out there preach that someone being gay is going to send them to hell, shit like that. So he was like, "Oh yeah, here we go," because
well, let's go.
So that's a huge part of that because to say that to somebody, for one, is not very Christian-like. You know what I mean? Like if you want to call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, you're supposed to love thy neighbor no matter what, right? But you're not supposed to be their judge. So back the fuck up. You know what I mean? And also, these people really, 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 really need to think about not only how come they're not watching their own damn kids and find out what they're watching, but also what does it matter to you? How is it affecting your life? Walking down the street, eating your breakfast, talking to your husband, your wife, whoever, your job. Why does it matter to you? It shouldn't. Just ignore them. There's a million other things for you to be entertained by. And if you're like, you know what, I don't want to listen to this guy anymore because of whatever, move on. I'm sorry, there's a million other people out there you can listen to that maybe won't hump the devil and won't offend you with their gayness or whatever the hell you want to be offended by from them, their blue hair or their asses chaps or whatever. Move on. I don't get it. I don't get like why everything has to be so just up in arms about every little thing. When it comes to all it is that artist feels like doing their artsy thing, whatever.
I want to say since the dawn of time and the introduction of music, there's always been an artist where the older people are like, I don't want you listening to that shit. It's always been like that. I love the skit from the Busta Rhymes album when she's like, if you want to listen to black music, I got Sammy Davis Jr. records downstairs. You're like, not the same.
And for some reason, I hadn't thought about this memory in a long time. But my mom dated this guy back when I was like teenager, right? And I would go to bed with my headphones on, and I'd either go to bed to like, I don't know, Jodeci, or I'd go to bed to like Dre and Snoop or whoever, Biggie, whatever. I just play it and I'd fall asleep to it. Or I'd play it on my radio as I'm sleeping. And I remember one day he had to talk with me. He said, when you go to sleep with that kind of stuff, it gets into your brain and it like changes what you think about this. I'm like, no, it doesn't. So I just remember really responding to him like, it's not affecting me and it's not, changing what I'm doing when I wake up. You know what I mean? Because for one, you fall asleep to a point where you don't even hear it. Right. And it just goes off. The tape would stop or the CD would stop and goes off. So it's just like his old ass just didn't enjoy the music because it was hip hop and it was cussing and it was, vulgar and flagrant and whatever. But he wanted me to like maybe put on salsa because it didn't have that kind of vibe. And maybe I can go to bed to that and be a better person.
So you mean you didn't go to sleep listening to Jodeci and wake up the next day every freaking night humping the pillow every freaking day?
My wet bed made me probably think I did that at night, but not even then. I was just like, no, I woke up and I'm like, I just turned the shit off. It didn't even bang. Or I just put on Slam and start banging everything.
The boys be
there were those moments. Dev Instrumentals will tell you very much so how he felt about those. So
I believe it. So I mean, we are saying this to say we understand the new artists. We appreciate. I am a fan of new music. You are a fan of new music. We are not these two old dudes who are like, if it didn't come out after 2002, I don't listen to it. I don't like that shit. I don't fuck with them niggas. I don't be listening to them niggas.
And we said that we missed out on so much that the Roots did, M has done, all these cats that we listen to now because they put out so much after 02 anyway.
So much good shit. And I can say honestly, I get bothered. Like I'll be in the Uber, I'll be in the Lyft, and there's an old school cat, and he's playing some old school shit. I'm like, that's dope. But when people are like, oh, I stopped listening to music in 1995, I'm like, what the fuck? Do you have any idea what you've missed since? No, it's all trash, man. It's all garbage now and all this. I'm like, all right, well, different opinion. I'm never gonna close myself off to music. I mean, unless it's country music. But even then, I don't. I like when new shit comes out. I like to see the progression. I like to see that because of this, it inspired this, which moved on to this, which moved on to this. So we are not shitting on the Gen Zers. We're not shitting on today's music for the most part. We're just saying we see you. What you're doing is not new. We see you. We appreciate what you're doing. And sometimes when you do this, it reminds us of this. I feel like if everybody looked at it that way, it would help them appreciate the art a little bit more. Yeah. You can say all you want. Well, oh yeah, but these dudes ain't Wu-Tang. Right, but they're not trying to be Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Nobody is Wu-Tang. They're never gonna be Wu-Tang. They are this, and they have a Wu-Tang influence. So appreciate them for what they are.
Yeah.
Unless they're just absolute trash like Lil Pump. But
yeah.
other than that,
hopefully they're just trying to do good music.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, that's what this episode is about. Let's get into our what the shit. Our what the shit is pretty much a teaser for what we're going to talk about in the next episode.
Stop. So what the shit is actually kind of perfect because it's just like what we're saying right now. You ain't doing nothing new, but we see you. All right. Okay. But this ain't going to be too positive in this one. So
go ahead. Set it up. No, set it up. I know we're talking about it. We're talking about it on the next episode because it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And it's basically talking about the new Jim Crow laws is what we're going to get into. But the thing that just got announced this week, once again, today is Wednesday. They just announced that they are moving the MLB All-Star game out of Atlanta. And they decided yesterday they're putting it in Denver. And the reason why I'm going to let you explain to people the reasoning behind, like a quick little thing about why this is a big deal. If somebody who's been under a rock, they understand what's happening in Georgia. If they were listening to the Jay Roman show, how would Jay Roman break it down for them?
So big thing about why it was in Atlanta is because they were going to honor Hank Aaron. All right, because he's passed away, legend, all that stuff. Home run king, who I consider still the top home run king over Barry Bonds. But because he played for Atlanta. Thing is, he technically played in Milwaukee longer for more years. Milwaukee said, hey, do the All-Star game here. We're ready for it. Let's do this. They moved to Colorado. So this came about because of Jim Crow 2.0. So Georgia, we see you, or I should say Georgia legislature of the Old Boys White Club, Old White Boys Club. We see you because what's happening right now is they have enacted some of the most ridiculous and strict voter restriction laws since the Jim Crow era. And actually, like you said, it's a little preview. So I'm just going to put it out there. 47 states, including states where Republicans won, are putting new laws out to restrict voter access. Georgia being the first one to put these really big ones, talking dumb shit like you can't even give people water. So MLB, or I should say the civil rights activists, spoke out to all these major companies, asked them to do something about it, speak up. So the MLB, one of the biggest things, moved as that, as their statement and put out saying like, we wholeheartedly feel like you should be able to vote. You should have every right, every access. Why make it harder? That's not right. And then the Atlanta Braves themselves decided that they were going to do their own little protest about the MLB and wear a cover over the All-Star patch. Because now they're doing their little sign thing and they're talking about their distaste for what happened. And I, for one, think that's the wrong move. Atlanta, you should be on the side of the people because you're talking about everything that this is taking away from the businesses of the local people and all that. Well, you know what? You need to talk to your local legislature. That just made it harder for most of your team who are residents of Atlanta to vote. The 70%, 80% of the black people on your team are now going to have a more difficult time just to go take a vote. So you trying to speak out about it, kind of not the right way to approach that. Like that's the what the shit. Like, what are you talking about? You're going to protest that they moved the All-Star break or All-Star game out of Atlanta. I think it's the right move. I think it's the right move. It's only a preview of what should happen. You know what I mean?
I think it's a great move. I think there's always going to be clapback. I've already seen the clapback. I've seen the people like, oh well, companies should stay out of politics. All right, listen, and it's the shut up and dribble culture. These people are real. These people are like, why don't you just play the fucking baseball game and don't worry about what's happening in the state where you live, where you get paid to play fucking baseball? How fucking stupid do you sound when you say that?
Yep.
Like, how dumb do you sound? So I love that the commissioner was like, he was like, I have decided to move it somewhere else because we believe in equal voter rights, which is dope to me. I can also say this, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person who will say this or has said this. I truly believe that if Hank Aaron was still alive and he saw what was happening in Georgia, he personally would be like, let's take it the fuck out of Georgia.
Yeah.
So I love that they're celebrating him somewhere else because Hank Aaron believed in equal rights and he was an activist. He would 100% be like, yo, I'm with them. Let's get the fuck out of Georgia until Georgia gets their shit together. So you're going to honor a man, and that's the man to honor. I feel like the MLB got it right. As much as I talk shit about Major League Baseball being so behind when it comes to being woke, when it comes to technology, when it comes to just building toward the future, I will applaud them on this. Good job, baseball. We appreciate what you're doing. We see you too, motherfuckers. We see you and we appreciate that. Good. Black Republican clap.
So real quick, back to just a last thing on the Braves. Don't talk about what you think the MLB messed up on. Talk about what maybe your own legislation messed up on. I think I maybe said that, but like look at yourself and look at your own people, because they're the ones holding it down. They are the ones that have messed up that $100 million that could have gone to the local economy, not the MLB. Let's get that straight.
So on that beautifully positive note, we're gonna get out of your face. You know what? If we had to play an outro song, but we don't because we ain't got no music, we ain't paying nobody money for their music. I mean, if you wanted to play, I mean, some out of the artists we were talking about today, if you could listen to one right now and we were signing out, who would you pick? Who'd you listen to? Because I mean, like I said, you like Weeknd more than I do. Yeah, you. Like if you want to write out on the song right now to end the episode, who would you pick? Doesn't have to be the song, just the artist.
Oh, I'd probably do a J. Cole song.
Damn, I was gonna say J. Cole. I'll be honest with you. I'm good vibe right now. I would go Jhené Aiko. I'm feeling, yeah. I don't know, man. Between her, Victoria Monet, and her, like HER, yeah, man. I mean, yeah, man.
There's a lot of good ones. Right, there's a lot of dope ones out there, man. That
women are killing right
now. We see them, and I love, and when I hear them, I'm like, oh yeah, I can hear that influence right now, and I love it because they do it right. The ones who do it with like an homage way about them, but adding to it, that's the way you got to do it, right? That's the way you should always do it.
That's the way it should be. So we're gonna get about your face. Till next time, I'm Sean Q. Be smart.
Jay Roman, we out.
Keep it old school.